Hello everyone, I am Hemant Sood. I'm a practicing interior designer for the last 40 years based in Delhi and the immediate past chairperson of Triple ID Delhi Regional Chapter. I have the pleasure and the honor of having an old friend and an amazing designer, Vistasp Bhagwagar.
Hi
Who's
Hemant, always a pleasure being with you.
always a pleasure being with you.
The kind of
Vis-
chemistry we have, it
Yes,
becomes more of fun
we go back a
conversation.
long way, a long
Yeah, a
way
long way.
to
Yeah.
things related to design and things not related to design also.
That's right. That's right.
So, Wispy, since this is going to be recorded as a podcast and put out on the social media and YouTube and
Yeah.
everything, and I'm sure a lot of young professionals and a lot of students are going to be seeing this also. It's going
Yeah.
to be circulated to all the colleges which are affiliated to Triple ID.
See, I've suddenly become serious.
No, I have not become serious.
Okay.
Depends on your answers, then I'll
Yeah,
decide whether
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to make it serious or not. So, but the youngsters are listening, so
Yeah.
give them a little, I think they can take inspiration from your journey. So, how did
Yeah.
you start and how have you reached today at the peak of the profession today?
Well, I wouldn't say the peak. I think the peak is like Mount Everest. It's hidden in the clouds and you're forever
The best is
chasing
yet
the
to
peak.
come, we know
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
of
correct,
course.
correct.
Of course.
So I think, when one starts from the valley, as so many of us do, I think the journey is like trekking in a mountain where you really don't know where you are going. And often that is one of the biggest problems because sometimes life takes you on its own journey.
So, what are the unexpected turns you've taken or
well,
you've had to take?
I mean, imagine starting from zero, Hemant. I used to do designing for sets in Kamani Auditorium.
Oh,
And that was a starting point. I
lovely.
mean, nobody really knows that. And
Now they
a
do.
few, well, now they do. Yeah. And, a few plays and works done there, and then some contacts being built. And my first job really was with Vinod Nagpal, who was in the movie and the play industry. Started doing some work. But I think, to a lot of young people, I would say that it's very important to decide your journey rather than leave it organic. Because I think if I was to live my life again, that's one thing I would do. I would say, okay, I'm going to take a chopper and go right up the mountain. I'm not going to trek the hard way.
Okay.
So, in many ways, find your why media, find something that really takes you from point A to point B in a more defined manner rather than allowing life to take you in different ways.
But life does take you, no? So you look
It
at the
does.
youngsters of today, they've been hit hard by COVID, totally unexpected, rocked all their plans,
Yeah.
changed everything around.
Yeah, for a lot of people, a lot of things come in the middle and then they distract you, but it's important to know your path so you come back onto the path. So I think that's really important. Given that I started from an absolute zero stage and now I'm reasonably, doing reasonably well.
Okay, that's
I
being
think-
modest, but
I mean, reasonably well.
we'll go on from there.
Okay. I would say that, the same journey could have been maybe done in a shorter period of time. And I think that's what kids of the present generation want to do, no? They want everything faster.
Yeah, but the trouble-
Maggie noodles was born in our era.
Right.
But I think the 2-minute syndrome is more the millennial, attribute now.
So, but one thing, 2 minute Maggie noodles never takes 2 minutes for the stage. I've never been able to make it in
Well,
2 minutes.
that's there for
But that's one
everybody
thing.
to
But
learn.
the trouble with today's generation, and since I teach a lot, I am in touch with a lot of the youngsters. I'm sure you are too. Everyone is looking for a quick fix, a quick route, a shortcut to reach the top. So, what is more important for you, the journey or the destination?
Well, having clarity of the destination is what I'm saying is important.
Okay.
But yes, being patient through the journey is important. You cannot sort of jump and, jump your way up to the destination. Try as you may want to, you got to go through the rigors. You need to climb the mountain. You need to go past all the adventures and understand, be more grounded, learn what are the pitfalls. Because if you get things too easy, also a lot of second generation practices, why do they fail? They fail because you've already got some things,
You got some things on a
inherited
platter,
on a platter,
and
you've
sometimes you
not
don't have the
really-
vision of the founder.
Yeah, you don't have the vision, you don't have the grounding that the founder had.
I was
And
talking to Charanjit Shah yesterday, and
Yeah.
you could make out how grounded he is.
Yeah.
I think the higher you rise, the more grounded you are.
Yeah, in
Or
many
maybe
ways.
because you are grounded, you rise very high, whichever way you
So
look at it.
my theory is that you don't rise, you become taller. So your feet
Okay.
are on the ground, you just start becoming taller. Isn't that lovely?
I could do with that. I could do with a few extra inches
Yeah.
and a few less around my stomach. So, Wispy,
Yeah.
in your, and I don't mind me calling you Wispy, we're old friends. So, Wispy, in your journey, would you name as 2 or 3 of the iconic projects you've done on the way?
Well, I mean, no such question can leave out my hotel in Goa. As you know,
Of
that
course.
was, a turning point for me. So let me just explain you the journey a bit and how that came in the middle. So one suddenly got doing into a lot of workspace interiors only, because that's how life took me. And then somewhere I realized I was, not fulfilling my talent as an architect. And somewhere I felt that I'm not cut out to work in the residential segment by
Okay.
far, by far.
Yeah, you've done very little comparatively in the
Very little, just maybe even 5 fingers are too many, for the number of residential projects I would have done.
True.
But somewhere the thing was, how does one really do justice to wanting to build and do, design architecture and all? So I said nothing better than writing your own script, finding your own producer and doing it on your own. So it was a shoestring budget. It started off, two more friends joined up. We made this fantastic hotel. You're still to come there, by the way.
I still haven't got my air ticket. I'm waiting for the air tickets to arrive. I shall fly next morning.
Are expiring by the end of the year. So please decide that after the interview. So, making that hotel and making something iconic, and then getting into the segment of luxury was, luxury in a more affordable manner. We've often talked about affordable luxury, right, in past conversations.
So what's the brand of the hotel now?
It's Story by ITC.
Story by ITC.
Moira Riviera, North Goa.
Right.
Yeah, so that was a turning point, and today,
How many rooms is that?
That's 20 rooms.
Oh, so it's a boutique property.
That's a boutique property. 20 rooms. We're adding 9 more keys now as we
lovely.
speak. But that became a turning point, because suddenly now I'm doing a lot more hotels in different parts of the country.
Okay.
And so it comes down to the same point to a lot of youngsters who are there, that if you know what you want to do, you can do it that much faster if you're more focused. I think a lot of us discover what we want to do.
I think it's a journey. It's a journey of discovery.
It's a journey of discovery, but I think the smarter younger ones already would know what they want to do, and that's a very important thing that they should do.
I feel today's generation is exploring a lot more than our generation did. We had a very fixed parameters, and we were told this is the range in which you can explore, and that's it. Today they explore a lot more.
So I think there's the present generation, I mean the younger generation, does have a lot of what's in it for me as a question, which is a good question to ask, because in doing that they are, not forgetting themselves while being part of the journey.
True.
So I think that's a very important thing. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I have this fear which a lot of people express to me also. When they're 20, they're exploring, and I tell them it's wonderful. Please explore, explore yourself, see what you want to do, and things like that. But when you're 25, you're still exploring. You're 30, you're still exploring. So somebody also has to tell them when to stop exploring and start doing something.
Yeah.
That's also important.
But I found that a lot in our times, when we had a lot of architect friends who today are not doing architecture.
Yes.
We have a lot of people who through the 5-year course of architecture are actually discovering themselves. And many of them discovered that they are not meant for architecture, or they are not meant for design. And I think even that itself is a journey, at least you took 5 years to do. Thereafter, again, you're exploring as to what type of architecture you want to do. And so I think life is a series of explorations, one after the other.
True.
If you think you've ever arrived, then you're actually dead, because you cannot ever arrive at some point. You always have to create another target to reach.
True. Very true. You've also been known as a writer of books. So that's another very interesting facet about your personality. Tell us a little about that also.
Well, I mean, when the world was coming to an end, and as we thought during COVID, I said, here's my time to write down everything I know and pass it on to whoever survives it.
If somebody
So
survives
honestly,
it.
that
Or are you
was-
waiting for the aliens or the next generation to find it?
honestly, yes. I mean, it was honestly, that was
Time
the
capsule.
calling, and the fact that we had a lot of time. And so wrote this book called Positivity at the Workplace, which was more related to my first innings as, more of a workspace architect.
True.
And then I wrote this second book on the hotel journey. And the hotel journey book is even more interesting because it talks about not just is the hotel shaped like a boat, the roofs are shaped like boats, but the name of the book is Boats, that, if you have belief, ownership, action, teamwork, and sustenance,
Okay, wow.
which is an acronym for boats,
Yeah.
you can achieve any dream.
Okay, wow.
So that's for a lot of the young kiddos around.
In fact, you should have carried a book copy, a couple of copies of your
I
book.
should have,
You
yeah.
could have shown it. At least, is it available on Amazon?
It's available on Amazon.
Good. I'm still waiting for my signed copy though.
Absolutely, you shall get
Okay.
it.
And one question I thought I'll ask you, since you are not asking too many questions, is what is the state of the profession today? Are you happy with where we are?
So, Hemant, what is your take on the state of the profession? Let me turn it around on you, because you are actually dealing with a lot of the students.
Yes.
So, by the way, I wanted to tell you that you are formally educating them and I am informally educating them, because every kid in our office needs to be educated to work. And,
Yes.
and the frightful condition in which they come to us, there's a lot of hand holding and education that happens. So I think as designers, we are educating people all the time. We're even educating our clients. You would agree, right?
I would.
All the time.
Couple of things I'd like to comment. One is we do educate our clients. My experience, unfortunately, has been don't educate them. An educated client can be more difficult to handle than a guy who trusts you and relies on you and lets you do your thing.
But education is also the process of unlearning.
Ah,
It's not just the process
that's
of
difficult.
learning.
That's really, really
So
difficult.
that's why you need to educate a client to lighten the baggage that they come with in their minds, and to actually tell them that, look, this is not the way you want to really. It's like going to a doctor and telling him what medicine to prescribe. I think it's one of the challenges in our profession. We'll come to that.
Okay. But to answer your question, which partly you already answered, the state of the industry, I'll start with the educational part. There are a lot of new institutes coming up. Triple ID has been working with a lot of them, trying to make sure that they adopt the Triple ID syllabus. So they don't have these 3-month and 6-month diplomas, but they actually have a 2-year advanced diploma or a 3-year degree or a 4-year bachelor's degree. But be that as it may, the practical experience is sad, if I may say so.
It's not there.
I won't take names. I think all colleges are par on that. The person who passes out a 1-year course or a 2-year course or a 3-year course or a 4-year course, their starting point in the industry is still zero.
Yeah.
Material knowledge, zero. Technical knowledge, zero. Practical experience, zero.
Yeah.
They've never been to a site, never seen anything.
Yeah.
One trip down to Kotla or MG Road, or maybe 2 visits to a site where their professor or their teacher is doing some project.
Yeah.
That's not really the experience.
Yeah.
Internship happens, if at all, only in the final year, fourth year, so 7th
Correct,
semester,
correct,
8th semester.
correct.
It should be happening every single year. They're not ready for industry.
Yeah.
And they unfortunately or fortunately come out with, our industry doesn't pay very much at the starting point.
Yeah.
So they also feel, and I've had this feedback, they are expecting an X amount of money, maybe 10,000, 15,000 for a stipend. Some of our members who I'll approach you or any of our friends, that we've got a whole new batch from XYZ college, please take them on as interns. One of the critical points where there's a conflict is the stipend that they expect
Stipend.
versus what we are wanting to or willing to give.
Yeah.
Because what happens is we are teaching them and paying them so that we can teach them. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the mindset is such that they feel they're already ready for industry, which they're not.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the line, I feel the institutes have to play a role, the teachers have to play a role, and tell them that if you spend 4 years, spend another 6 months, not thinking about the money.
Yeah.
Then you got the rest of your life to earn.
Yeah.
Learn for another 6 months.
I would go a step further and I would say that it should be mandatory in the summers to do internship for 2 months at some office or the other. I did internship in my first year at KT's office.
Oh, okay.
And then second year at Mr. S.K. Das's office, and third year somebody else's office.
Okay.
So I think that need to want to connect and understand the realities of the profession is not there.
Yes.
There are a few things that sadden me. Even to an exhibition like this, which is so well curated, the D-Arc Build exhibition, I have to call up my people and tell them, please come here. It's almost like I'm calling them to my daughter's wedding.
Yes, I have to give a holiday in my office, saying it's a paid leave,
please
but all of you will report at 10 o'clock in the morning to the exhibition, spend the entire day there. So I pay them to be here at the exhibition, which is also part of the learning.
Yeah. So there's so much reluctance, they want everything served to them virtually.
But that's theoretical,
and
no?
That's really very sad. The second problem is I don't find one architect or interior designer coming with a pencil in his pocket, okay, and being able to draw one straight line.
Oh, they
forget making a whole sketch. Draw one straight line on a piece of paper. You're not able to do that. So I think being a slave to the tool of AutoCAD and eventually now to AI. I mean, today a whole lot of emails are written through AI and stuff.
Which is why the new generation is petrified of AI. They've become so dependent on the computer. If you are manual, if you are analog, you have no fear because AI can't take you over because you're not even visible. You're not on the footprint.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But the minute you are relying so heavily on software, on new technology, AI is going to take over in some time.
Absolutely. And it's going to close your brains down. And that's the problem. So not just is the visual, excellence going down, even the mental and the cerebral aspect is being affected. So that's a worry, what's going to happen in the future.
So that partly answers my question of the state of the industry at the entry level. The other one thing that bothers me, not really bothers me, but the only concern I have is there are some people who do design only.
Yeah.
And many people who do design and build.
Yeah.
Probably it's better control. Probably it's more money.
Yeah.
Probably it's just a mixture of the two. But I feel somewhere down the line, if the same company does design, the same company does build, somewhere down the line, the purity of the design is compromised. I don't know whether you agree with that or not.
So I've done a lot of years of my life where all my life has been only designing, but a lot of years of my life have gone in working with build contractors and being a design consultant to them.
No, which is fine. You were a consultant to a contractor or you work with a contractor, that's okay.
But hear me out. What I realize even there is design becomes secondary to, profitability. Design becomes
profitability, time, effort.
It becomes the first thing on the chopping block to cut down upon. Specifications are not honored. Design intents are sort of twisted.
The details are tweaked a little bit. Just a little tweak results in a faster production.
Absolutely.
Or a faster delivery. They'll take that.
So one does realize that you cannot be only peddling design unless you understand the implications on build. And that's why it is so important again for architects to be so involved on going to sites and understanding how things can be done economically, rationally, logically. Because you don't want to sit in your ivory towers and only draw things
air-conditioned ivory towers.
Correct. That's a worry that people are not going to cite enough.
Today, that's what I have a problem with, where you have a supervision department where the supervisors go on sites, but the designers never reach the site.
Yeah, correct.
So it's, there's a disconnect when they sit in their air-conditioned ivory towers, as we call them.
Correct.
On
and
software.
We do damage to our own profession in doing that.
Absolutely.
Because somewhere it is not about making pretty pictures. We got to understand we are not artists. For God's sake, we are professionals and we are in a service industry. We have to deliver not a pretty picture that looks nice on an Instagram, but we want a pretty photograph or a reality that's sorted out.
True.
Hemant, that's my worry for the future.
My one more complaint, you may call it, whatever, or observation about the state of the industry, which is a little controversial and I'll get a lot of flack for this, I'm sure. But a lot of people are doing good design. But a lot of good designers are actually introverts. They are creative people. They are not very good at social graces. Definitely social media. Not good at marketing. Not out there. And then there are some people who are only out there and I would call them almost creations of the media. And now with PR companies and paid media and bot likes on social media, it becomes difficult for the average person to distinguish between who is genuinely a good designer
Yeah.
and who's just created this aura of being a great designer.
Yeah, Hemant, so,
Today you have influencers masquerading as designers.
correct,
So,
correct. So, Hemant, it's a reality we all need to face, that with the changing time, there has to be a component of us that's a little outwardly. I think it is the job of an architect to be a little bit, or a designer to be a little bit more open, a little bit more social, and balance it out. It's
you've
a
always
balancing.
been that. The change in me happened after COVID. Before COVID, you wouldn't find me on stage for for love or money. But now
Yes.
I'm all over the
Yeah,
place.
but I think it's something. You see, there's an analogy with the concept of a best-selling author or a best writing author. Nobody gives a damn about a best writing author. It's always the best-selling author.
That
That's the book that gets picked up, right? And you may open it and you may feel you've already read much of it. But then that's the way life is.
so same thing in our industry, as they
Yeah.
say, or in many other industries. Jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a reality we need to embrace. We can't run away from it. It's in every profession.
And
You
now
know.
the last question, considering all these things, that the issues with
I
the
was just warming up.
or the state of the industry, it is a short podcast. It's not a very long. We'll have a longer discussion some other time.
Okay.
So the last question I'd like to ask is that, considering since you agree with all the three problems I've pointed out in the industry, regarding these problems and others that I may not have talked about, what role do you think Triple ID can play? What can we do? What more can we do? Or are we doing enough? What does
I think, I think it's not just Triple ID, it's a whole lot of associations that need to somehow, even an IIA, for example, um, not just a Triple ID. I think all the associations need to actually sometime have a discussion on what is the state of affairs in terms of recruitment, in terms of attrition, in terms of the very stature of designers and architects. What are the problem areas? You see, my worry, and I've been saying this always, is we like to talk on sellable subjects because that's what attracts eyeballs. We don't want
every
to
second
talk-
panel discussion is on green or
is on green, sustainability, affordable luxury. You've done it.
We've done it
three,
enough
4 times.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but who is really talking about the business of design and the design of business?
True.
I have been knocking a lot of doors wanting to come out with a manual where 100 architects were to give 5 learnings on the design of business and 5 learnings on the business of design. I give it to you as Triple ID. Why don't we, create something like that that becomes a useful tool, because nobody's talking about those actual things.
Okay.
I think
Well, that's
something that
one homework that I'm going to carry back home, and we'll try and
absolutely.
work on it. What else can? So is Triple ID? Firstly, are we doing it? I'd like to talk about Triple ID, especially because we have control here. We can do things. I can't speak for the other associations, though we have amazing relations with all of them, and we do a lot of collaborative work. But we'll try and get them on board also. But firstly, is Triple ID doing enough? And number two, if not, or even if we are, what more can we do?
So as I said, Triple ID is not doing enough. It's not addressing the main issues, and I think the main issues are more to deal with the practice than to really say all is well and pretend everything is
No, we
nice
never
and
say all is well. We are controversial enough to say all is not well.
fair enough. But we are always having topics of discussion which are very superficial. I think the main issues which we challenge, which we deal with, and which challenge us every day, we're not talking about that.
Okay, so
That's think
one
about
thing
it. Think about it. CAs and lawyers have a better network and a better community feeling amongst themselves. Today, you speak to a CA in Delhi, he will connect you with somebody in Chennai if he has to. Architects and designers, unfortunately, work in silos.
No, I think Triple ID has worked to break those silos to a
They
great
work,
extent.
but
Delhi, at least, I can speak again, especially for Delhi.
Yeah.
Delhi was you remember when we discussed this matter maybe 15 years ago to today, there's a sea change. People who were competitors
I'm
are today
talking about working
collaborators.
pan India.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
talking about how architects work in isolation rather than working in unison. Why do we have to all have 20 or 30 people in our offices if we can reach out to friends and work on projects together? So
Together.
there's a whole separate discussion. That's the kind of discussion, Hemant, that we should be having in
Okay,
the
fair
future.
enough. Will do. I've implemented that in my life. So Rishu and myself and my daughter have separate agencies, but we work as a collaborator. So common staff, common infrastructure, common projects,
Lovely.
but legally three different entities.
No, that's nice. That's really nice. Now take it to pan India level.
Okay, great. What else? Any other last suggestions
Well,
you can?
I think Triple ID can organize a lot of learning sessions as well. I think you are having a
We're
learning
doing that now.
session, any case that's coming up
Yes.
soon. I think learning sessions in the same city in terms of understanding. There used to be programs where one would go to different architects' offices and understand them. I think learning of that sort,
The
exposure of that sort.
studio
can be-
visits, we are
Studio visits.
restarting those also.
Yeah.
See, COVID also hit us badly and things went
Yeah.
for a toss. But
Yeah.
we brought back some of our flagship events.
Yeah.
10 on 10 is back, Master
Yeah.
Strokes is back.
Yeah.
We've started now Delhi Design Conclave, which was a huge success.
Yeah.
We are getting back studio visits. We're starting the international trips. So
Yeah.
Thailand is on now.
Yeah.
So a lot of the older, the charm of Triple ID and also the USP of Triple ID, we're getting all those back now.
Sure.
And this term, as you join us in the managing committee, we look forward to, forge the way and see how we can, do something
Lovely.
even
Look
bigger
forward.
and better.
Yeah. Look
And-
forward to discussing more meaningful subjects
Yes.
that really help a lot of the younger generations not waste time finding answers to questions we already know. So I think that's the kind of thing that I'm
So no
talking
more conversation on sustainability.
on
Sustainability and
oh no, not at all.
no more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and the last word to the audience is the youngsters would be there. Any last words for the young generation, for the students and for the young professionals?
Yeah, so I would say that it's better to be a master of one than to be a jack of all and a master of none. So it's better to niche your way. Find what's the calling, what's the area that you really feel interested in and you really think is relevant for the future. Given that Elon Musk has predicted that AI will eat up every job by 2035. So given that doomsday prophecy, what is that one niche that you think you can contribute in and really specialize in that? Really go ahead on that.
Okay.
What about you? What's your last word?
My last word, of course, AI is of course something that bothers everyone. So I feel if you concentrate on creativity and not on the routine part of what we do, creativity cannot be replaced. AI can never replace creativity because AI is based on deep learning and machine learning. So it's based on whatever input we are giving AI. If there is something that is creative that's in your mind that's not even given to AI, AI cannot imagine it or cannot create it. They can copy. They're great at copying, but they not that great on original creation. Their creations are actually modifications of somebody else's creation. So you have a Taj Mahal and then you have the top 10 architects of the world. If they had designed the Taj Mahal, what would it look like?
Right.
Okay, that's great. They've taken the works of those 10 architects,
And blended it.
blended it and
the
put it
form.
into the form of the existing Taj Mahal
Yeah.
and they come out with it. But if you come up with something totally different, they may not be able to do that.
Yeah.
So if you're creative, you will not be replaced by AI. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
And if you're doing routine stuff, non-creative stuff, which unfortunately a lot of this generation is doing,
So
then I
just-
fear for them.
I'd just say creative with a focus into what you want to do. It ties up with the beginning of our conversation about climbing up a mountain. So knowing what's the direction, where do you want to reach? So I think that's the way I would tie it all up together at the end.
Wonderful. Thanks, Prisby. Lovely talking to
Thank
you.
you.
And
Time just
always
flew.
a pleasure. Always
Yeah.
a pleasure.
Lovely. Thanks.
Thank you all for
Thank you.
joining in, and we will have more such design dialogues very soon. We'll keep you updated. Thank you.